As the coaches chose who was removed on The Voice 2025 tonight, the final night of the knockouts on The Voice Season 28 aired tonight, determining which artists would advance to the playoffs. The Week 5 results from the knockouts will be revealed tonight on NBC, so it's time for your The Voice spoilers. The coaches had to make some tough choices about who would advance to the playoffs and who would be sent home on The Voice 2025 tonight, after we saw another night of performances. It was the last night for the coaches to distribute the mic drop in addition to being the last night of knockouts. More performers have been sent home after tonight's knockouts. Now that Week 5 of the knockouts on The Voice Season 28 is over, it's time for the coaches to send their team members go. Tonight, who performers will be eliminated? See our The Voice 2025 results below, as the playoffs are just 1 week away. Tonight is the last night of the knockouts. As the evening wears on, we will provide updates. We have a Team Reba battle to open the evening. Reba shocks everyone by selecting Peyton Kyle as Austin Gilbert's winner in the Country vs. Pop contest. 2 4-chair turns were used in a Team Niall match. Both were excellent, but when Niall chose Kirby as the winner, many were taken aback. Dustin Dale Gaspard was so removed. Yoshie Hannah vs. Lauren Anderson is the season's knockout, and Team Snoop wins. Yoshie Hannah just gave an incredible performance. We are now awaiting Lauren's performance. It was the last hour of the knockouts on a smoky, electrifying Monday night. As the 4 coaches on The Voice, Reba McEntire, Michael Bublé, Snoop Dogg, and Niall Horan, prepared to make their last selections before sending their teams into the playoffs, the stakes had never felt higher. The new mic drop twist was approaching, thus suspense, heartbreak, and emotions were all present. 3 names were called at the conclusion of the night, followed by applause for those who were still going and the terrible phrase, "You're eliminated," rather than chairs spinning or stealing. Tonight showed no mercy, no steals, no second chances. Who made it home after being eliminated? These 3 musicians' journeys came to an end when the last notes faded and the lights went down. The member of Team Reba, Austin Gilbert, Dustin Dale Gaspard, a member of Team Niall, Team Snoop's Lauren Anderson, they saw Knockouts Week 5 as their final appearance on The Voice stage this season, not just another elimination. Their last performances on Team Reba were as follows. Peyton Kyle faced off against Gilbert's energetic rendition of 8-Second Ride, which was based on country grit. Coach Reba chose Peyton's more emotionally unvarnished, angst-tinged version of I Don't Wanna Be in spite of the enthusiasm. On Team Niall, Kirby was challenged by Dustin Dale Gaspard, who performed a rendition of She Talks to Angels. However, Kirby won because of her heartbreaking, soul-heavy psalm, Hard-Fought Hallelujah. Lauren Anderson battled valiantly with a strong cover of Team Snoop. Many thought her pop-rock intensity was appropriate for a pink-era mood. Coach Snoop ultimately chose Yoshie Hannah because of her Motown soul rendition of You're All I Need to Get By, which spoke more to the spirit of the stage. 3 hopeful voices were cut off when the last note was followed by the last gongs. The chairs were still secured. The vacant seat was a farewell, not a promise. What this meant? A cut that would define the season. It is impossible to overstate the significance of tonight's eliminations. In addition to reducing the field, Monday's knockouts served as the last elimination round before the playoffs. These weren't only performances. These were pivotal moments. For Austin Gilbert, 1 set was lost and 1 toe was plunged deep into country energy. Although his 8-second ride felt genuine, it fell short in a season that seems to favor vocal vulnerability and emotional honesty over bluster. In contrast to Kirby's emotional appeal, Dustin Dale Gaspard, who is known for his soulful swagger, might not have provided the heartbreak that listeners were hoping for this week. The voice of truth may be the one that bleeds in such a dire situation. As strong and fearless as ever, Lauren Anderson won the night for Yoshie Hannah with her soul and genuineness. The play seems to be saying that stage blooded realism and unadulterated emotion go farther than just dazzle. Not to mention that this was the last night for coaches to use their mic drop, which was a button that allowed them to designate one artist for a unique bonus, a chance to perform at the 2026 Rose Parade. In light of this, every sound, breath, and subtlety were significant. Pressure, stakes. It was everything here tonight. What made it through? The artists' next steps plus mic drop winners. The play finished with unadulterated hope, despite the sadness of saying goodbye. The survivors from each of the 4 coaches' teams were as follows. Max Chambers, Rob Cole, Jazz McKenzie, and Trinity are members of Team Buble. Ryan Mitchell, Aaron Nichols, Aubrey Nicole, and Pete and Kyle make up Team Reba. Avad Nat, Kirby, Avon Ross, and DEK of Hearts make up Team Niall. Ralph Edwards, Yoshihana, Mindy Miller, and Tony Loreen make up Team Snoop. Additionally, the 4 mic drop nominees, Max Chambers, Team Buble, Aaron Nichols, Team Reba, DEK of Hearts, Team Niall, and Yoshihana, Team Snoop, were the ones whose performances completely stunned their coaches. The stakes are raised by the mic drop, because there is a chance to perform in front of a national audience in addition to simply surviving. The survivors of tonight might soon be performing at the Rose Parade. The tone of emotion, risk, sacrifice, and resonance observing this last round was like watching a house of cards, meticulously constructed over several weeks, before being rocked by the unadulterated force of reality. The last night of the knockouts tested more than just voice range. It put the heart to the test. Every yes that the judges said was followed by a no that had a more profound effect. The new regulations for this season, no saves, no steals, unveiled what many seasons had concealed behind second chances. It was final tonight. The performer who was unable to fully convey the truth in song lost tonight. Dustin, Lauren, and Austin didn't simply lose songs. They missed up on a greater opportunity. However, they left a lasting impression on the audience by speaking up and singing their truth. That is important. The prize for those who made it through is more than just a spot in the playoffs. It's confirmation that their rawness, risk, and honesty struck a chord. Implications for the playoffs and beyond. Now that the knockouts are over, the scene is ready. There are about 16 performers left, all of whom have a chance to win the title. However, the future seems more uncertain than ever this season. Because of the mic drop gimmick, a musician might become extremely popular based not just on public votes for the show, but also on fan support for a completely other prize, a Rose Parade berth. That creates an additional layer. Who can win the hearts to perform at a national New Year's landmark? Rather than just who can win the voice. Artists who connect rather than merely act may be rewarded by the trend toward emotional sensitivity and genuineness as opposed to ostentatious gimmicks or wide theatrics. It's possible that truth may be more telling than technique in the upcoming season. For artists that are eliminated, their legacy endures even though their time is limited. Losses can sometimes provide the most vivid memories. A contemplation. The actual voices outside of stage viewing, there was more to Monday's knockouts than who stayed or who went. It was evidence of something more profound. The power of voice as narrative, confession, and human spark. Each of the dismissed artists, Dustin Dale Gaspard, Lauren Anderson, and Austin Gilbert, gave it their all up there. Perhaps they would have survived on an other night and in a different season. But notes weren't enough tonight. It demanded the truth. What about the survivors? They were more than just vocalists. They told stories. With each line, they put their souls at jeopardy. One thing is certain as the playoffs approach and the dust settles. The voice is more than just a competition when the stakes are this high. It serves as a mirror, reflecting not only sound, but also the vulnerability, optimism, heartache, and open heart of any artist who is prepared to speak their truth. If you would like, I can create a fictional short narrative with only one scenario that is based on tonight's knockouts. Imagine hearing the eliminated musician get ready for their final performance while you're backstage. Do you want me to spin it right now?